So you want to learn German and you want to know traditional ways or conventional ways of learning German. We already talked about the unconventional ways to learn German, which we link up here. And if you want to know more conventional ways of doing that, then please stick around. Hey, I'm Jen and I'm from Guatemala.
And I'm Yvonne and I'm German.
And we're from simplegermany.com, where we help expats settle into life in Germany more smoothly. Okay, so let's start with method number 1.
Yes.
Which is?
Very traditional, a book.
Yes, this
More
book.
importantly, a grammar book.
Yes.
So we have chosen to talk about Schaum's today, and you may wonder why, because obviously there are a gazillion grammar books out there.
Oh, yes.
However, since we've been on here for some time and we've had simplegermany.com for some time, we've actually looked at a little bit of data, and our readers on simplegermany.com have chosen Schaum's most often over other books that are also on our website. So that's why we thought, let's take the favorite one and review it a little bit.
Okay, so what does the book offer then? Like, why has this been a favorite one? Do you know?
Well, I mean, I don't know. You have to ask everyone that purchased it. But from what I can say, and the research that we did, is that it is and how do you say that? It is old, like not the book per se, but the company and the first edition has been, I think, like in 1975. It's quite popular for a long time, and has, of course, several editions. Now it's in the 6th edition from 2019, and that just proves how people have liked it over decades, right? Yeah. It is, I would say, a typical grammar book. It has, it's very exercise driven. There's like, I think, over 420 exercises with answers. And
luckily,
also nowadays an audio version, like via app or web app, where you can also listen to not all 420, but I think like 120 exercises to also, like learn the pronunciation. So it's a very versatile and very, I would just say, steady and sturdy, grammar book.
Yeah, I agree. So I had the chance to do a couple of exercises. I didn't do the 400 plus because for that I think I need some time. But I did some exercises on the book, and I can say it's pretty okay. Yeah, it's a grammar book, so it's pretty grammar driven. However, what I liked very much is that before every exercise there's an explanation, and it's an easy to follow explanation, because some grammar books, they just tend to like overcomplicate things.
And a complicated language.
And a complicated language, yeah. So the examples are really specific for the exercises that you're gonna do. So that's pretty cool. Another thing that I noticed about the book is that it's not really divided into levels, right? So there's no chapter 1 and 2 are for beginners. Obviously, I think that's how it's structured. However, you can jump really into any chapter, into any exercise, have the explanation, and do the exercise. So there's no real path. You can just really find the exercise or the chapter that you need to work the most.
Yeah, I was saying the area you struggle with the most, right?
Exactly, yeah.
So it's really for it actually says it also on the cover. It's for beginners, intermediate, and also conversation German. So it's a book for long term also, I would say.
I agree. And I also agree with most of the comments that review this book, that the pages are very thin. That's kind of like a downside, really. However, for me personally, that's not a deal breaker, because I think maybe the problem is when you do with pencil the exercises and then you erase it, that could be an issue. However, if you do it with a pen, it works fine. And like I said, for me, it hasn't been a deal breaker because I use a pen anyways. So just for you to know. Okay. But so far, I've liked it very much. It's very traditional. I've had tons of other books like German for Dummies. I can show you an array of books that I have for learning German, but this one has been quite nice.
Yeah, and actually she has learned. I've been an honest witness.
Yes, she's been my buddy for learning German.
And just to give you an idea, because obviously all three ways of learning German in a traditional way are best combined together, because this is a focus on grammar, right? So the next two will focus on different aspects of learning a language. And just to give you an idea, obviously that can change over time, but the Schaum's German grammar is in Germany at least around the €20 range, and in the US around the $30 range. Those are the price points that I've checked. Obviously, it just gives you a little feeling.
Estimation. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. So now that we've talked about the book, let's go to number 2.
All right. Number 2 is, I would say, the more modern way of approaching a language, and that is an app.
Wow.
However, we're not going to talk about the Duolingos of this world. I'm not really a big fan. Don't ask
why
me
are you not a big fan of Duolingo?
I've tried it for Spanish and I've just not enjoyed it. It's not been entertaining, or it just didn't capture me. It's been boring, actually.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know. It's just not my thing, right?
Okay.
That's why there are so many, I guess, for everyone's taste.
Yeah, makes sense.
And we're also not going to talk about the bubbles, which is, I would say, very professional, and if you are very, very dedicated, also more advanced. However, today we are talking about a rather new and not so common app, which is called Drops.
That's
true. Drops is very interesting. It is very much for the visual learner. So there are obviously very different learner types, right? If you're good in listening, if you're good in reading, if you're good with pictures, and this one is very, very visual. And it's fun. They've actually won a design award as well, and they've recently been actually purchased by Kahoot. Not sure if you know Kahoot, but I have been able to deal with them quite some time at work, and they're just a very entertaining, fun, playful learning company worldwide. Yeah. So what does Drops do? Like, how have you experienced it?
Yeah, so I also tried Drops to learn vocabulary. And I would say Drops, the experience that I've had, it's mainly to learn words, vocabulary, right? Yes. And as Yvonne mentioned, it's very visual. So you usually have like a picture and you need to link the picture to a word. And there's different ways of doing this. So either it's by like dragging and dropping the word on the picture, and they have multiple really gamified ways for you to remember. You also hear how the word is spoken. So that's pretty cool. And like you said, they won a design award, and that makes sense because it's very, very user-friendly. I must say because maybe I'm in my 30s, I struggled a little bit at the beginning to understand how it worked. However, once I got the hang of it, it was pretty fun. So Drops offers like 5 minutes that you can learn for free, so you don't have to pay the premium version. The one thing I did notice, however, as kind of like a downside maybe, is that as an advanced German learner, yes, that's what I consider myself, the vocabulary was not so versatile. So for example, I set my settings to advanced, and I did multiple drops because, like I said, it's 5 minutes that you can do a topic. And in these topics, I found very, very basic words like der Bahnhof and like, you know, der Bushaltestelle. That is like, okay, I already know this. Show me here the meat of new words. So in total, I think in a drop, maximum new words that I found in 5 minutes were maybe 7. And I would say that's kind of like a downside. So if you are a beginner, an absolute beginner, this is perfect. I wish I would have also like found this app back in the day when I was learning vocabulary, because it's just so great. It's so much fun.
Yeah. So obviously there is a premium version, right? That's often the case with apps like the freemium models. And there you have the choice to do a monthly payment or yearly payment. Obviously yearly reduces a bit. Currently I think yearly is around €70 and monthly would be around €10. And that is just another option. Mainly for beginners, I would say, and it's just very playful and makes you remember things. Like you actually came the next day and said, "Ha! I learned that word." Yeah, and that is cool.
Actually, very interesting. Yeah, because coincidentally, so I had done like a kitchen drop, like things in the kitchen, and I learned the word die Reibe. And funny enough, the next day we were cooking with Yvonne's mom, and she's like, by the way, die Reibe ist da. And I'm like, oh, I know what it is. So, you know, it did work for me in remembering the new vocabulary.
And what is die Reibe?
The shredder.
Ah.
The potato. No, I'm kidding. The shredder. Cool. So that is Drops. And number 3 on our list.
Number 3 is, again, I would say a very traditional way. However, I would say spiced up. And that would be attending a language school, in this case an online language school, which I think from all the 3 is your favorite, right?
Yes, so I was going to say this is my absolute favorite, and the online language school that we're talking about is Lingoda. If you have not heard about them, then we introduced them to you. And definitely out of the 3, this has been by far my favorite way of learning. So what is Lingoda?
So Lingoda is an online language school. They're actually German. They're based in Berlin. They offer the languages French, Spanish, English, also business English for all you Germans out there. And of course German for all you non-Germans out there. And they've been around for quite some years. But of course, through the pandemic last year, they've gained in popularity and of course students. And I must say, the first time that I discovered Lingoda, I was really amazed. And I kind of was like, this is too good to be true, but then I digged a bit deeper, and the reviews are amazing. The teacher reviews are amazing, which we will ask Jen what her experience was. And what struck me was that they are offering 24/7 language learning. It's super flexible, so you can really adjust it to your time schedule and wherever in the world you are. They are all live classes with like native speaker teachers. And the group classes are super small. They're like 3 to 5 students. I mean, like I've actually worked at a language school, and there the classes had like 15 to 17 students, which I would say is an average, right?
Yeah, I
mean,
agree.
if you look at a German school, like actual school, in one class, there are like 30 students, right? So 3 to 5 is really, really small and unique. So so Jen gave it a try.
Yeah, so I also try Lingoda, and I absolutely love it. So, like you mentioned, so you have a native speaker, which they're very engaging. So a class is 60 minutes, and it's 60 minutes compact of information, and it's very, like Germans say, zack, 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 yeah? And you have topics that range from everything and anything. Currently, I'm in B21 level, and in the first chapter of this, I've learned a lot about like the European, let's say, student life, right? Like, so we've talked about university, about the Erasmus program, which is a very European thing, and throughout that, like a lot of vocabulary pops up, words that I didn't even know existed, however, that are also used outside of the student world, you know. What else? You can, like Ivan mentioned, you can schedule your class for whenever that you want, really, as long as a class is available. You have a maximum of 5 students. I think the maximum I've had in my classes we've been 4. I think has been the absolute maximum. Yeah, so the classes are taken, we use Zoom for the classes. The downside a little bit is that not everyone turns on their camera, so sometimes engagement with other students is a little bit low because obviously when the teacher sometimes asks a question, probably we're all going like this, but we don't say yes, so it's like, okay, say yes or no. So, but however, in the last 2 classes, actually, more people have turned on their camera, which has actually changed the atmosphere. So pretty cool. I must give you a word of advice. If you are like me and you're a bit forgetful, put your reminder 30 minutes before the class. I put mine for 10 minutes before the class, and I've had situations where I'm in the supermarket and I'm like, oh crap, I have my Lingoda class in the next 10 minutes, you know, like running back home. And so I would highly advise, because it's very flexible, right? Like you can do a class whenever, really.
So for Jen, the flexibility, which is like so amazing, was actually like hard for her to follow up on because it was not the regular schedule. Oh, every Monday at 8 I have my class, which you can of course set. You can choose the classes yourself, but it's been actually quite funny to see her. And it's like, what time is your Lingoda class? Oh, let me see. And still, there's sometimes some rushing to it.
Some rushing to the class. However, in the last class, I was 5 minutes late or so, and it was totally fine. It was fine. I mean, it's not advisable to do it, but the teacher was super cool about it, so that's good. Another thing is that if you do miss a class, however, which happened to me once, you do lose the class.
Yeah, of course.
So, because you already paid for it, right, and the teacher is waiting, so you do lose the class.
There are also sorry.
Go ahead.
There's also the option to have private classes, right?
Yes.
You also had that?
Oh, yeah, and that was so awesome, right? Because really it's a one-on-one conversation. So during the chapter, you have different topics. Some topics are more about reading, others are more about writing, others are more about grammar. So I chose the grammar topic with a private teacher, and that was really, really cool. We learned the conjunctive zwei, which is apparently very useless in German speaking. But for writing and for reading the newspaper, it's very important. And I had so much fun with this teacher. It was really, really cool.
I've never honestly, in a long time, heard her speak so fluent and joyful with laughing. It was really cool to see. And I just peeked at the camera every once in a while, and the teacher was just as engaged and fun. Yeah.
It was really, really fun. So I've had private German. So my journey to learn German has been years. I think I'm not just a language-driven person in general, right? So it's been years in the making, and I've tried everything and anything. I also had a private German teacher who actually charges 35 euros per Doppelstunde. Each stunde is 45 minutes, so for 90 minutes, 35 euros. And in Lingoda, you actually pay 8 euros a month.
It depends on the package you have. If you have a monthly subscription, a class is around 8 euro. Yeah? If you are committed long term and have like a 3, 9, or 12 month subscription, then the price can also get reduced to even 6 euros per class, which is honestly, for the quality that we've experienced.
Yeah. It's super awesome.
Really good.
Yeah, because also, like you mentioned, I've also gone to language classes both outside of Germany and inside of Germany. And I think the smallest class that I can remember, we were like 10 students or 7 maybe. So with the fact that we're so little students, you really have the chance to interact, to speak a lot, ask questions. It's very, very cool. I've enjoyed it very much. And you can do it from the comfort of wherever you have internet, really, because again, it's through Zoom, so you can do it through your phone, or you can do it through your laptop, desktop, computer, pretty much from the beach if you want, if
Yeah.
you have good reception.
And the way 24/7 learning, the way they do it also is that obviously not all teachers are also in Germany, Austria, Switzerland, right? Like I think you have had teachers that were like also in Latin America.
Yeah,
actually.
one guy was actually living in Peru.
Yeah,
A guy who I think is from the south because of his accent, but he's living in Peru and he was giving an evening class. Yeah.
One thing we must point out though is that to start Lingoda, you had a little bit of a hiccup, right? Because the placement test. So that, as Jen pointed out, like she is not the most language-driven person, and learning German is still a bit of a struggle. So, however, she's very fluent in speaking with a lot of grammatical errors, which is where the struggle comes. But like she doesn't hold back, right? She's a blah, 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 blah. So in a placement test that is purely like grammar driven, her level was put very, very, very low. We were like, no, that's not right. And then she contacted Lingoda and was like, look, this is like my result, but I've have a certificate that is way higher and I can speak a lot better. And they were super, super friendly. Said like, hey, especially for people that have lived in the country for some time, we realized there's a gap between the speaking and the grammar.
The grammar, actually, yeah.
So let's adjust it, see how it goes, let us know. And if you're comfy, stay there. If not, we can readjust it. So,
yeah, so that was
just
cool.
Be sure that if you think that the placement test might not have or
been
doesn't
accurate,
show your full potential,
Yeah.
Reach out to them and they are happy to adjust that.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, because they confirm the fact that when you live in Germany, you might speak a lot more than what you actually know for grammar, which is my case.
Then
maybe when I'm 90, I'll be able to do the whole dativ
and it's
accusative
different if
thing.
you're still living in your home country and you want to learn German before you move or just for fun, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah.
Yeah, totally, yeah. So Lingoda, if you are into online classes, definitely give it a try. So if you want to learn German in a traditional way, with any of the 3 methods that we mentioned today, you will find the links in the description box below. You will find the link to the Schaum's book on Amazon. Drops is an app available on Android and iOS, and Lingoda is a website that you can sign up to.
Yeah.
You don't need to download any software also for Lingoda, because again, it's through Zoom, right? And again, these are affiliate links, so if you do decide to go with any of these methods, then we will receive a small commission at no extra cost to you. So that's cool.
Yeah, and that's also a way for you to support us. If you choose not to do any of these and you still want to support us, give this video a like.
And subscribe, of course, because that helps to spread the word out about Simple Germany. So other English-speaking people in Germany, are able, or outside of Germany, I would say,
of course,
are able to also get this content. If you want to go the extra mile, you can always support us on coffee.com. We set up a page there where you can support us by providing or giving small donations in the amount of a coffee. And that will definitely help us to continue creating great content for Simple Germany and to keep at it.
Yeah, exactly. So we hope that you learned something in this video, and maybe one of these 3 methods is a great way, other than our unconventional methods to learn German, to help you on your journey. And please, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments, and also let us know what is your favorite way.
Yeah.
And we will see you again next Monday.
Yeah, until then, cheers!